Sam here. Today I want to answer a couple of questions that come up quite a bit, and that is, what quantities are your adhesives available in? And it kind of comes down to what type of adhesive you're working with. So today I'm just going to kind of go over the more common, or I guess the most common adhesives that people are ordering. And that would be a 1-to-1 adhesive and a 10-to-1 adhesive. Now, there are 2-to-1 adhesives, there are 4-to-1s, there are specialty adhesives and things of that nature. But when you're kind of talking about the workhorse of the structural industry, it's going to come down to your 1-to-1s or your 10-to-1s. So what size adhesive can you get these adhesives in? So things that I'm not going to show here would be 50-gallon drums, 5-gallon pails, quantities that are, something that's going to be in greater quantities. I'm not going to have them here to show you. But when it comes to the cartridge sizes, I just kind of wanted to go over what sizes are the most common so that you guys can kind of determine what will work for you based on your scope of work and what you guys are doing in your shop. So let's start over here with the 1-to-1s. This here is a 1-to-1 and it is a 400 ml or 400 milliliter cartridge. And this is going to be pretty much your standard size when it comes to regular cartridges. The 400 ml is probably our #1 sold cartridge in the 1-to-1s. And then we also have this baby cartridge, which is a 50 ml. So if you're doing like repair work, so you're working on small projects, we're just using a little bit of adhesive at a time, you've got the 50 ml. So with the 1-to-1s, that's kind of the two sizes that most people are getting when it comes to regular cartridges, either the 400 ml or the 50 ml. Now, these are 1-to-1s, so it does take two different guns. With the 1-to-1 adhesives, you're going to have plungers that are the same size because it is a 1-to-1. So you're going to have the same size plungers going in there. So if you're using the 50s, you need to make sure you have a gun for the 50 ml. If you're going to be using the 400 mLs, you want to make sure you have the larger gun with the same size plungers that can work on those guys. Now, Big Dog has also recently introduced a sausage system where we have a gun. It's a battery-powered gun right now, and we have our resin. Basically, it's one resin for each of these tubes in a sausage. And now these guys are 300 mLs each. So these guys slide into the gun, and this would be a 600 ml cartridge. Or you can also get this in a 1200, where basically the sausages are twice as long, and you have two 1200 milliliter sausages. So if you are doing a lot of repetitive work, if you don't want to just be using the constant cartridges, hey, you're like, hey, the 400 ml, I'm running out, I'm having to change cartridges all the time, or you want to use less waste and there's no waste, all you're doing is throwing away a little bit of foil on these sausages, you could say, hey, I want to go with your 200 ml sausage gun, and that is going to give you two 600 sausages that give you a total of 1200 ml. So if you're going with the 1200 ml gun, you're basically getting 3 of these 1-to-1 cartridges, the 400s, in one 1200 milliliter system. So you're not only is there a tremendous cost savings in this, you're also going through one set of sausages and you're saving 3 cartridges in the landfill every single time. So that right there is something to consider when you're looking at the 1-to-1s. We also do have the sausage system coming out for the 10-to-1 here soon, but as of right now, we kind of are focused on the 1-to-1. So with the 1-to-1 again, you've got a 50 milliliter cartridge, a 400 milliliter cartridge when it comes to traditional cartridges, or you can move to the sausage system where you have a 600 ml, 2 300s, or a 1200 ml where you have 2 600s. So that's kind of our options over there. Now, when it comes to the 10-to-1, I'm going to kind of put this guy off to the side here. For the 10-to-1s, when you are talking structural adhesives, mostly structural like marine, sign, industries like that, you are mostly going to see a 500 milliliter cartridge like this or a 50 milliliter cartridge like this. Now, these are 10-to-1s, so I wanted to show you, if you look at this, you have a bigger resin barrel and a smaller catalyst barrel. This is your hardener, this is the resin. So on the 10-to-1s, compared to a 1-to-1 where you have 1 part resin, 1 part adhesive, here you've got 10 parts resin, 1 part catalyst. So the cartridges are shaped different. It's going to take different guns depending on which of these you are using. But on the structural side in the 10-to-1s, You've got the 500 ml, and you've got what I call a baby bulk, your 50 ml. Again, it kind of depends on what you're doing and what your project needs. You also have in the 10-to-1s this 250 ml. Now, the 250 ml is very rarely used with structural adhesives, but when it comes to countertop seaming, the 250 ml is kind of the standard in the industry. So with the SeamLock Pro, 250 is the standard. We do sell the SeamLock Pro in the 500 ml, but very few shops are ordering this anymore because it just takes 2 cartridges to get through a kitchen. And most guys are not wanting to get the bigger bulks. These are lighter, they're less fatigue on your hands. So you're seeing this when it comes to the seaming side, probably 95% of what is sold in the 250 ml. But overall, the 10-to-1s come in 500, 250, and 50. Again, seaming making up the majority of this. We don't sell much structural adhesives in the 250 just because most structural either needs a lot of adhesive or they're just getting the 50 for a tiny little repair or touch-up. And again, if you're using the 10-to-1s, you're gonna have a special gun for these guys. If you've got the 50 ml, you got a gun, this one compared to the 1-to-1, you'll notice there's a big piston and a little piston, whereas this one has 2 pistons that are pretty much close to the same size. So it is a different gun. 1-to-1 takes a gun, 10-to-1 takes a gun. And then if you look at the 10-to-1 gun for the 500 ml, it has a big plunger and a little plunger as opposed to the 1-to-1 that has 2 plungers that are the same size. So again, depending on what adhesive you're working with, you need either the big gun for the 500 and the 400, a little gun for the 50, and it takes different guns depending if you're doing 1-to-1 or 10-to-1. It's not all completely universal. And again, on the 1-to-1s, you can get the sausage system. The sausage system is being developed for the 10-to-1s. We're hoping that's here very shortly. And then of course, if you are going through lots of quantities of adhesives, you can get it in 5-gallon pails, 50-gallon drums. But for today, we're just kind of looking at your most common standard cartridges. So hope that answers some questions. This comes up a lot. Which gun do we need? Which adhesives do we need? What size does it come in? Try to answer all of those questions today. If you guys have anything else that you think we should have covered, let us know. But today we just kind of want to get a high level look at what sizes do the cartridges come in and the adhesives come in, and what guns do those cartridges take. So if you guys have any questions, shoot us an email, give us a call. We love helping you take your business to the next level.